country today is the tiptoeing and political correctness that has brought us to the brink of disaster in national security, politics, and sports. Question: do we have the fortitude, courage, and determination to stand up to those who threaten our values? Last night in Alabama, President Donald Trump did just that and took no prisoners on the sports issue and the NFL players who disrespect our flag. Last year, San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who, by the way, is without a team this year, began the protest by taking a knee during our Star-Spangled Banner.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired! Total disrespect of our heritage. That's a total disrespect of everything that we stand for, okay? Everything that we stand for.
The fallout was swift and certain. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell called the president's comments divisive, saying they demonstrated an unfortunate lack of respect for the NFL, our great game, and all of our players, that the president exhibits a failure to understand the overwhelming force for good our clubs and players represent in our communities. Roger, force for good? Are you sure you want to get into this fight? Now, Roger, if my memory serves me correctly, your stance on some of the NFL players and the women they batter is somewhat problematic. Think Ray Rice, Josh Brown, and a neuropathologist examining the brains of 111 NFL players found 110 to have CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, the degenerative disease linked to repeated blows to the head. Instead of mouthing off how you are a force for good, Roger, maybe you ought to get ready to reveal damaging information when the lawsuits start. Think Aaron Hernandez. And according to USA Today, NFL player arrests are not only disproportionate to the general population, but the violence associated with these arrests is shocking. And I'm not even talking about the homicides. And Commissioner, instead of taking sides against the national anthem, maybe you ought to think about your stockholders, your investors. Even though the stock market, thanks to our President Trump, is at an all-time high, there is one area that is suffering greatly. Companies that broadcast, yes, the NFL games, they are all down. Do you think that just maybe there's a correlation between the NFL broadcasting stock slump, the NFL TV ratings fall, as the protests by these bozos rise? Attendance is down at NFL games. Sunday night football viewership is down at least 7%. And I'm sure you know that as ESPN has become more political, it's had to lay off employees because of its low ratings. And NFL Players Assistant Executive Director D. Maurice Smith says no one should have to choose a job that forces them to surrender their rights. He says they have, quote, thoughtful discussions in your locker rooms and boardrooms. Hey, D. Maurice, the only people who choose a job that forces them to surrender their rights are cops, the ones who die protecting people they don't even know. And it's the same liberals who want to protect the constitutional right of people like Colin Kaepernick to symbolically reject America by taking a knee. They're the ones who were quick to criticize Tim Tebow for bending a knee to pray and thank God on the field. And just this evening, the Golden State Warriors are refusing to go to the White House, placing blame on the president, saying he's made it clear we're not invited. That's nonsense. President disinvited Steph Curry, not the team. My take? People watch sports to get away from day-to-day stress, work, illness, financial worries. We don't need to be reminded of the political divisions. All of a sudden, football players are lovers of the Constitution and the First Amendment. You're all full of crap. And that includes running back LaShawn McCoy, who called the president a word that I can't even say. You want to kneel, sit, or raise your fist during the national anthem? You ought to go kneel in front of a guy who's lost his limbs fighting for you so that you can call the president names. And don't give me this crap that you guys want to support reform and stand up against social injustice. You tell me the last time you sat on a jury. You tell me the last time you joined a school board or fought for laws that help people you supposedly want to help. When's the last time you voted, wrote a letter to your legislator or congressional representative? You want to convince America that this is about social justice and the Constitution? Then maybe you ought to get off your butts and do something positive for the country that's allowed you to make a fortune. America's been incredibly good to every one of you. From the time you displayed talent in sports as a youth, America's allowed you to shine and become financially prosperous. There are so many of you who make tens of millions of dollars. Why don't you get together and take care of the so-called social injustices instead of disrespecting our country, our nation, the country that has turned you into heroes while you train 8-year-olds who don't know any better to take a knee against America because they're taking their lead from all of you because they don't know any better. Shame on you. Shame on all of you. Shame on you too, Roger Goodell, for not showing that you love this country as much as the president does when you had the chance.